Chapter 27P22 Hazard Mitigation Group Grant Program. Purpose, definition, eligibility, LMS working groups, local mitigation strategy, county allocation project funding application. 27P21001. Purpose, chapter to describe the purpose of the application, proper selecting distribution of the hazardous mitigation grant program. 27P22002. The adoption means of the resolution or for the other formal act of the take of the governor by the county municipal indicating of agree with accepting the relevant local mitigation strategy. Application means of the hazard mitigation funding of the Division of Emergency Management by applicant the state of emergency local government Native American tribe the authorized tribal organization non-profit the organization equivalent to hazard mitigation funding FEMA means federal emergency management agency Florida hazard mitigation strategy means the Florida Division of the hazard mitigation plan and referred to in the Title 44 CFR Part 206 for the subpart M approved the federal emergency management agency and the Florida hazard mitigation strategy is and hereby incorporated with the rule of the reference a copy of the may be detained with the contact Division Emergency Management Plan. Alright, your hazard mitigation exposure of the human life with the property of harm, the man-made with the natural disaster, hazard mitigation means any of the action taken to reduce, eliminate the exposure to the human life of the property with the harm from the man-made natural disaster. Hazard mitigation group program with the referred to the HMBG hazard mitigation grant program is referred to the HMGP. Maybe the program authorized in Section 404 is after the act was implemented with the Part 44 CFR Part 206 and subpart M with it has been hereby incorporated the reference copy of which may be detained with the contact of the division provided the funding with the mitigation project with defined in standard hazard mitigation local mitigation strategy with the LMS means of the plan reducing and identified hazard within the county of the project of the hazard mitigation measure for the identified with the local mitigation strategy. Repetitive loss structure meaning of the structure of the stuff for the two or more occurrence of the damage due to the flooding with which have and receive the payoff of the national flood insurance program that's of these occurrence. Work group of the group responsible for developing implementation of local mitigation strategy. 27P022-003 eligibility type of the project include limited the following new constructive activity to resolve the protection of the from hazards retrofitting existing facility with the result of increased protection from the hazard of the elevation of the flood-prone structure, vegetation management, soil stabilization, infrastructure protection measures, stormwater management, flood control project acquisition relocation plan with identifiable analyze mitigation problem, including finding the schedule program, the implementation solution, order eligible funding projects should be the following requirements: conform with the Florida hazard mitigation strategy, conform with the funding of the mayor of the disaster, establishes a local mitigation strategy governing project with Title 44 CFR Part 5 of the Part 9 floodplain management protection wetlands Title 44 CFR Part 10 environmental consideration both here and incorporated reference copy of the administration with the contact of the division eliminated hazard independently and substantially contributed element with the hazard wherever the responsible assurance for the project as a whole must completed must both be cost effective with a substantial review for the risk of the future damage, hardship, loss, or suffering result from a disaster. 27P 22004 litigation management. And once again, that was local mitigation services. Alright, local mitigation services work programs. Each of the counties electing with the participate in the hazard materials grant program must have the form of the local mitigation strategy of the working group of the FEMA of the and approve with the local mitigation strategy. No later the last work of the day, weekday of the January, each for the chairperson from the bottom of the county commissioner submit the division list for the member of the work group with the designated the chairperson, be the chairperson of the work group with the shown include the minimum representation of various agent county government include the not limited planning zone with the public work with emergency management representation from form all interest of the municipal of the county representation interest of the private organization civic organization trade with the commercial support with the group the property the owner association the Native American tribe the authorized tribal organization water management district regional planning council the independent special district the property organization council should submit the documentation shown for the preceding year but it has been written in invitation of the municipal of the organization civic organization North American tribe of the authorized tribal organization water management district the intent of the submit with the district of the non-profit station appropriate for the participate in local mitigation strategy with the working group of the documentation shall come with the membership of the list of the division. The work group shall have the following responsibility designated the chairperson by chairperson to develop the providers for the local mitigation serve the strategy and necessary for the coordinated mitigation activity within the county set of the order priority local mitigation project with the local mitigation strategy update with the division last working week day of each of January update shall the draft of each of the minimum shall have the header assessment project priority list Jim the critical facility list Jim the repetitive loss of the revision the aim after the 27P22005 local mitigation strategy. Alright, each local mitigation strategy have the following components describe the activity of the local government with the private organization promote, but the hazard mitigation description of the policy ordinance program with the guy with the activity and the division of policy ordinance of the program with the recommendation correct with the deficiency description of the effort to engage the private sector participant. The same with the general mitigation goal of the work group with the recommendation implementing with the goals estimate with the date of the implementation describe the procedure with the work group with the required review for the local mitigation strategy, regular intervals, and with the reflect for the current condition of the county with the hazard assessment include with the minimum of the evaluation, vulnerability, structure, infrastructure, special with the population, environmental resource for the economy, storm surge, high winds, flooding, wildfire, for the any other hazard of the community. So, respectable statement of the procedure that you this have the order priority project relation on the project variable to include the technical, financial, feasibility list approved of the project with the eve of the priority estimated cost associated funding fire sources. This critical facility must remain operating during the other disaster list for repetitive loss structure of the map, geographical information system format, depicting hazardous area with the projecting location criteria facilities, and repetitive loss structures. 27P220006, county allocation project funding. The available that has material grant program funds are allocated by the county within include the relevant presidential disaster declaration defined in section 252.341 fully state statute proportional each of the county share with the federal disaster funding with the public and civic and individual system and small business administration program with the 90 days after this as their declaration reported with the FEMA the eligible to submit with the project with each of the county include with the relevant presidential disaster declaration found with the inoperative the outline of local mitigation strategy. Still allocated funds are exempt the eligible projects are funded with which occur with the first any application remaining with the other of the eligible all eligible projects in declared county or funding shall be reallocated with the county with include with the relevant presidential disaster declaration allocation not sufficient to fund all submitted the eligible project proportion each of the county share of the unfunded project and if the fund remains all after eligible project with the subsection above that has been funded there shall be applied with the to fund the eligible projects submitted with the county with include with the relative of the presidential disaster declaration first come with the first serve with the base of the available funds obligated. Once the project is submitted with the planning with agreement of the applicable division regarding the initial grant shall be formalized by contract. Alright, 27P2207 application following implement may apply with following under the program statements local over the private and non-profit organizations to develop the private and non-profit facility defined in 45 4 CFR 206.2 and 221E hereby incorporate the reference capital may be detained with the contact of the division. Indian tribe with authorized tribal organization division shall know for the potential application available that has material management grant program funds for the publishing notice of the funds available to federal administrative register, full administrative register. Applications will not have less than 90 days of the day of the notification. Submit the problem object application for the opening and closing date of the specified notice of the funding availability application able to the division postmarked on the before the final due date, but the hand delivered application must be stamped to the division no later than 5 p.m. the day, Eastern time of the final due date. Later shall accompany with the each of the application for the chairperson by chairperson local mitigation service strategy work group with endorsing for the project endorsement shall for the proposed project does appear current local mitigation strategy state with the priority relation with the other submitted project application letter and endorsement will be considered. Alright, application must be submitted with the form of the number H has material grant with the state of Florida has been mitigation grant pro application effective due date June 2012 with incorporated with the rule of the reference copy that must be obtained with contact with the division visiting FloridaDisaster.org. If the division received the incomplete application notified of the written deficiency application within 30 days of the date of the letter refails all the deficiency of the deficiency or not occur with the deadline application with the final application delivered to the Division Emergency Management Bureau of the Mitigation 2555 Schumer Oak Boulevard, Tallahassee, Florida 32399 Intent Hazard Mitigation Grant Program. Alright, that was 27P22 Hazard Mitigation Grant Program.